as we'll discuss, I don't spend a lot of time on camera. Certainly not with this thing, but
What with that
yeah,
face?
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, look at it. I look like Peter Griffin with stubble. But do I have a big nose? Look at me from the side. Do I look different to you? There's your intro.
I'm absolutely delighted for this podcast to invite on my good friend and sometimes colleague, CJ Brookes, often known online as CJ Brookes FM.
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 I was almost expecting kind of a wrestling type of introduction there, like ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live all the way from wherever he lives, CJ Brookes.
Yes, he's big, he's fat, his beard fell off recently.
You basically
It's
just said the
CJ
same thing.
Brookes.
You just said the same thing twice there. He's big and he's fat. You know, it's like
I
when
don't
people
know.
say,
I have very little to go with. I mean, what? He wears glasses.
and a hat.
He's a gamer.
I wonder where you're going with that one. It's like when people say old aged pensioner. It's like saying the same thing three times over,
Yes, it is.
right?
Yeah.
Anyway, enough derailment for me.
Do
Hi.
you know what? I've never thought of that. Old age pensioners. I mean, talk about kicking them when they're down.
Right.
You're old. You're of age, and you're a pensioner. Now get out.
Yep.
Um.
Get in the sea.
Yeah. So anyway, back to my introduction for you. You're a podcaster. You're a gamer, and you're a YouTuber.
I am. You might just generalize all of that as content creator.
He's a content creator.
And gamer, because being a gamer doesn't make you a content creator.
No, that's right. But most importantly, you were half of the hosting duo of the Tuesday show with CJ and Ted.
And what a great show it was.
What a great show it was. I almost feel like it should come back.
What are you feeling? Season 5?
I feel like maybe a season 5. How many episodes were in season 4? 3?
Like 3 or 4, maybe?
Yeah, I think it was only 3.
Okay.
It was only 3.
Before I threw my papers in the air and went, screw this shit. Sorry. Am I allowed to swear on this show? I don't know.
Well, you have done, so.
Okay.
Hey ho. Yeah. No, actually, it will be 4 episodes because we are going to do a Christmas special, which somehow still fits into the series that started and ended in the very early months of this year.
Was that really early this year? I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
So much has happened this year that I'm still struggling with the idea that we're nearly at the end of 2023. You know, it literally feels like only a couple of months ago I'm saying, "Oh my God, it's 2023."
Yeah.
And I know that sounds like a real cliche, and everybody says it, especially as you get older. It's like, where does the time go? You know, this and then next thing you know, it's Christmas again. But genuinely, I'm feeling like that at the moment. I'm like, where on earth has this year gone? It's just been a roller coaster.
Well, it's not even enough time to sort of recalibrate and think to yourself, because every year you think, yeah, 2023, it's going to be my year. For about a week, and then you realize it's just going to be the same as all the others.
Yeah.
So I haven't really got to the point where I've come to terms with the fact that 2023 is coming to an end. So I'm not even in the 2024. 2024?
Yeah, next year.
Why did we say it like that?
2024.
I keep on saying 2024. That's a bit of a mouthful.
Yeah, I'll say I would have thought 2024 is easier than 2000.
Yeah, 2024.
Yeah. In the year of our Lord, 2024.
Yeah, it's a bit it's a bit much.
FM. Yep.
Yeah, FM. 2024 is the year that I will be starting to express the year as 2024 and so on.
Okay. Is that your New Year's resolution?
That's my New Year's resolution.
I mean,
Yeah.
to even throw other confusion in the mix as well. So, where I deal with a lot of finance stuff at work in my day job, and we always refer to the financial year as the next year. So at the moment we're in FY24, so financial year ending 24.
Yeah.
So come April 2024, we'll then be talking about FY25, financial year 2025, and it's like I can't wrap my head around it most of the time.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, oh no, this year's FY23 because we're in 2023, but no, it's when it ends, which is FY24. So.
Yeah. I suppose even more complicated if you're at all working with the Chinese, because they have different year starts as well, don't they? And you'll be saying, oh no, it's financial year starting ending 2024, and they're like, no, it's the year of the badger here.
Oh, that's it's financial year badger. You can't put that in.
Oh, I don't even know what year it is actually. Was it rat or something?
Oh, I have no idea.
Or fox.
But should we find out?
We could find out, or we could just rely on people in the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us in the comments, folks.
In the
Sorry,
comments.
I'm not hosting here. You are. Go
yeah.
do your hosting duties.
Anyway, talking of content creation. Well, we weren't. We were talking about years, but let's talk about the whole new year, new start. But the old year, 2023. Yeah, I've done it again. 2023, as was and still is. What have you been doing in terms of content creation since you jumped the Good Ship Tuesday show?
Well, since I, took a walk off the plank of HMS TTS, so I've actually really tried to accelerate the gaming side of my content creation. So I've kind of dabbled in it for a couple of years now, and I think my first real endeavor into content creation came in, I want to say 2020, which was obviously the year of COVID, or the year COVID really took hold of the world and shut it down, to such a point that come Christmas 2020, I didn't actually go out. I didn't meet with my family. I actually stayed at home on my own, Christmas Day 2020, and decided it'd be a good idea to drink an entire bottle of bourbon, and then try to stream a game on Twitch. That game was Cyberpunk 2077, and it was terrible. I went back and watched it the following day. I wasn't hungover, but I went back to watch it the next day, and I just thought, this is so bad. But that was my real first endeavor into content creation. And since then, I've just kind of dabbled. I've kind of gone in and out of motivation, a motivational space with it all. And this year, kind of following, like I say, my departure from TTS, I really decided it was what I wanted to do. I really wanted to focus on the gaming side. I really, really enjoy playing games as a way to relax, especially after a working day, as a way to spend my weekends. And I thought, what better way to try and learn new skills than to create content out of it? So this year, I've been spending a lot of time trying to learn new skills about content creation, about editing processes, sound design, and really try and push my YouTube career forward. With varying degrees of success, I'll say.
Have you got to the point now? How many videos have you got up?
Oh, God, now you're asking. If I'd have known this question beforehand, I could have prepared.
So many, you can't even count.
I think there's about 70 videos up right now. Yeah, I mean, that's including some of the older stuff. I mean, I've deleted some really old stuff before, just because I've gone back to watch it again and gone, oh my God, this is just so terrible. Whether it's sound quality is bad, the video quality is bad, it's just boring. I've just gotten rid of it. But I think, hang on, it's gone down to the bottom. There are 66 videos currently on my YouTube channel.
Right.
And that's recorded, and I think there's 2 shorts in there as well. Well, no, they've actually separated shorts out. So there's 66 post-produced videos on my channel, and a number of live. There's 13 videos where I've gone live and streamed varying sports games. I tried a bit on to try and get myself to do a bit more live streaming, because it's certainly with like the group of friends that I have, it's very much in vogue to do live streams of as much as possible. I thought to myself, again, trying to balance out my schedule, trying not to overwork myself. I decided to do a stream on a Sunday afternoon and call it Sunday Sport.
Yeah.
So number one, because I thought it was a nice little innuendo for anyone who remembers the paper, the Sunday Sport. But as well as
I remember it well.
But it really gave me a focus for what I should make my live stream about. And basically, I just chose to play sports games. So primarily it was like golf. So PGA Tour 2K23 was the main one. But there's, pepperings of Formula One, Dirt 5, and just some other kind of racing games to go in there as well. Just to mix it up a little bit from time to time. And again, varying degrees of success. There was some engagement, and I just realized that actually, I think when it comes to a live stream, I don't believe I'm charismatic enough to really carry that kind of live stream for 2 to 3 hours once a week. I rarely get more than 4 people watching at the same time.
Yeah.
And I won't say it demotivated me, because it didn't, and that's absolutely not the case. But what it did do was kind of make me reevaluate whether that was what I should be doing, and decided to, just for now take a break from it. I mean, the last live stream I did was in August 23. So as this video is recorded, August 23 was the last live stream that I did, and I haven't done one since. And I just haven't really found the motivation to try a live stream, because I invariably find myself on my own at a time where I'm available to stream. Like my friends, everyone has lives, and they're obviously out with their other friends, or they're playing other games, doing their own streams. So I just thought, I think I'll wait for a little while until either I find some more gaming friends or another gaming community to join, where I can do some more exciting and engaging and interactive live streams, rather than just people watching me play golf for a few hours.
We did look at the possibility of doing streaming for the Tuesday show.
We did.
I don't know. I'm in two minds about it. One, obviously, doing anything completely live is could be an absolute minefield, because it's very easy to say the wrong thing. And I know, because I often say the wrong thing, and I'm very glad that nobody was videoing it at the time. Being available to do it at the time when people are likely to watch a stream as well is difficult.
And that's the thing. I mean, I'd say certainly for what I'm doing in the gaming space, it's fairly easy to understand where your viewers are most likely to be, and therefore when the best time to go live with a stream would be. And I think that demographic is generally, most viewers come from the United States. Which means that if I'm to do a live stream at a time that, again, it's all very generic in general terms, I'd have to stream in the evening in US time. So we're talking anything from, like midnight our time in the UK would be the best time to start a stream, and to keep it rolling for about 6 hours to kind of cover all of the bases across the United States. But, as I said, I have a day job. I have to get up at 7 a.m. for work. I can't justify being up at that time of day to do a live stream to try and get audience engagement. Yes, I can do it in the evening time, our time, so I can stream from 8 p.m., 9 p.m., whatever, all the way up until about midnight. The only engagement I'm going to get is from the UK, and I'm not saying that should be frowned, or snuffed at, because people from the UK do watch, and I might get people from Europe watching as well, which is not a bad thing. But you definitely, the biggest portion of audience, and certainly when I've looked at the analytics of the type of video, the videos that I've put out, my biggest audience engagement comes from the United States. And I think a lot of people are probably in that same boat. I mean, especially being British, they go mad for the British accent over there, don't they? So they probably just enjoy listening to me talk to myself for half an hour at a time. But you talk about how, viewer numbers vary depending on videos. You've got the old Tuesday show stuff up on your channel right now, and it still gets views. I'm going to drop the the dreaded A word when it comes to YouTube, the algorithm. No one knows how the algorithm works, and what it is about your videos that pushes it up. I mean, we can do everything we can as creators to, try and promote our content and try and trick the algorithm into, showing it to more people. But ultimately, YouTube will promote your content based on the number of people that come and watch your videos and for how long they watch your videos, and that's it. There's no magical formula to it.
I think the thing with the algorithm is, I think unless your day to day is making sure that you've got as many views and as many subscribers as possible, and it's all about a money making machine.
Mm-hmm.
I think unless you're down that track, as a content creator like yourself, like me with this show, or even with the Tuesday show, we just got to deal with the fact that the algorithm is there to give the viewer what they want and more of what they like. It's not to do with us. So it's not something we can game because it's about what the viewers want.
Mm-hmm.
And I think to some degree, for kind of the stuff that you do and the stuff that I do, we've really got to, kind of push the algorithm away and forget about that and do the stuff that we want to do, and try and do it well, and promote it as much as possible to our own people, really.
Yeah, I mean, there's still things that you can do to try and push your video to more people, and and you'll know yourself when you look at the analytics within YouTube, there are so many things or so many metrics to measure on that effectively you're constantly thinking, okay, how do I improve this number? How do I improve that number? What do I do here? And as well as some other little tricks and bits and pieces that you can think of to get people to look at it. So, you're looking at, well, obviously YouTube knows what you watch. So it then knows what type of content to push your way based on your viewing history. It knows how long you watch a video for. So, on average, so it will know that if you watch, so again, for me, I'm going to assume that YouTube knows this much about me. I watch gaming videos. I watch how-to videos. On a gaming video, I generally watch it all the way through. On a how-to video, I tend to skip around a little bit. So what YouTube is looking at is, okay, so we're going to push gaming videos to this guy, which it does. And usually at around the 30-minute mark, 20 to 30 minutes is what YouTube pushes to me. When it comes to how-to videos, it actually finds the stuff, and because you can see it yourself when you scroll through a video, you see the little peak and trough graph along the bottom, along the little red bar. It shows you where people are watching things. So it'll actually, and I've seen it on a couple of videos, nothing to do with what I'm watching, but when I go into it and I start scrolling through, I can see the peaks and troughs, and the fact that people are going back to rewatch something and that kind of thing. And then when it comes to your own content and how you present that to other people, you can use your retention graph is a really good metric to look at. So I think everyone's retention graph looks the same. It starts off high, and then it literally does this gradual kind of exponential dip. But you can then also see again where people are rewinding or skipping to go back, and we'll see little peaks where people have gone back to watch a bit again. And the best part is you can go through that graph and you can see what your video is, or what point people are clicking away, or what point people are going to look back. You can go, actually, so maybe people liked that bit, so maybe I need to do more of that to keep, to build the retention side of it. And then there's things like, obviously, because it's all about impressions, so you get your impression click-through rate. The best way to get click-through rate is to have a really good pop in your thumbnail. So I've heard so many different things about the formula of a thumbnail, like you need to have your face with an emotion on it. There you go. You can use that as a thumbnail. You need to have a big red arrow pointing to something, or you need to have a before and after photo. So your before photo is, and then your after photo is, and it just draws the eye in, and the same with
in fact, this screen, as viewers are looking at it, could be a before and after.
Exactly. Yeah. This is what I look like now. This is what I look like. In 20 years' time.
After reconstructive surgery.
Yeah, and a new background. Yeah. Much more handsome. And what was I going to say? Oh yeah, and the other one is your title.
Yeah. Of course.
And I've been through and done so much research on this, again, trying to improve my own click-through rate and trying to get people to watch my content. I feel like I do a really good job with thumbnails now, more or less. There's still one or two I kind of go back and think not entirely happy with that thumbnail, and I might take it or I might, tweak it and then upload a new thumbnail. But the title I think is really important, and I watched a video. I won't say who I was watching, but this person was quite specific about their title choice, which is you have to put a title that obviously not only matches the thumbnail, but a title that if somebody scrolled past it after reading your title, that a couple of minutes later they think, but actually, what happened? And they'd almost feel
Yeah.
compelled to go back and watch it because they want to know what happened. And it's like,
Mm.
but it goes beyond the clickbait type title where people go, "Oh, I drank this, then this happened," because that is 100% clickbait. The general public are very aware of clickbait, and it just doesn't work anymore. It used to work, but it just doesn't do it anymore. Now you'd put a title of instead of "I drank this, then this happened," you'd say, I was dared to drink a pint of this." And then in your thumbnail, it's a pint of, the old like cartoon bottle with the skull and crossbones or the X on it or something, and your face like, and if someone scrolled past that, they'd be like, what did they drink? What was it? And they'd have to go back and watch it just to find out. But then the trick with the retention is you have to actually deliver on that promise of I'll show you what it is that I was dared to drink. But if you don't deliver on that quickly, or at least give a hint that you're going to deliver on it quickly, people will just click away. I was dared to drink this, and then someone clicks on it and it starts off in a meadow, with some funny music, and it's you skipping down the lane going, "Once upon a time there was." People don't care; they're going to click away.
Yeah, because I mean, the start of the video would then be, okay, I did this, I did that, and this is what happened. And this happened along the way, and then you cut to something else, and then you cut to some. I mean, I spend quite a lot of time watching YouTube videos with my little boy. So he likes all the really the loud stuff. When you've got there's a whole family involved in making YouTube videos, and they're really annoying and really loud and really like all over the place all the time. And there's something big, and there's something plastic, and there's something else. And then the dog turns up, and then they're in their Tesla, and then they're not in a Tesla, and then they're on the roof, and it's like that. And those are the ones that we watch a lot of. And even though I hate it, I'm still watching it, and I'm not looking away because I actually get I mean, it sounds really sad, but I start to sort of get led down this path to find out actually what happened when they make a dog hotel. And they've only got 24 hours. Why have they only got 20? Why don't they give themselves 48 hours? Why do they do that?
Exactly.
It's just drama, creating drama all the time. You got the music, and then you got sound effects and all that sort of stuff that makes you think, oh God, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? If somebody had walked down the street and said to you, somebody made a dog hotel, and it took them 24 hours, you go, oh, that's interesting. Move on. Because it wouldn't grab you at all. But when you're actually watching these stupid things, you want to know what happens next. And as you say, you've got the thumbnail, you've got the, here's a picture of a dog, here's a picture of a hotel, or here's a picture of something else, or whatever it may be. It's and then somebody pulling a face, and it gets you into it. And and
I know
I'm
exactly the
disappointed with
thumbnail.
myself.
I know the exact thumbnail I would use for that exact scenario. It's so you need to have a picture, whether it's you or a person conveying some kind of emotion, like, and you then need something else that's relevant. So if you built a dog hotel in 24 hours, well, the title of the video would be, "I got these dogs to love me in 24 hours." And the thumbnail would be you with because you love dogs and the dogs love you. It would be a load of dogs
holding a clock with like 24 hours sort of countdown, that kind of thing.
Yeah, a load of dogs there, kind of, leaping up at you or you're standing on their things, panting, looking at you. And then in the background is like a blurred something with a big red cross through it because we don't want you to know what it is in the thumbnail. We want you to click on the video to find out what it is. And that it forces you as the viewer to go, well, I need to know what this is. And it's really drawing on the FOMO side, is that fear of missing out. And it's drawing the viewers in to find out what it is that you've done that made dogs love you. Especially, I mean, dogs, you could do that with anything. But again, you have to deliver on that. You can't say, I made dogs love me in 24 hours, and then do a video that is nothing to do with dogs. Because, not only are people going to click away, it's going to affect your analytics, or it's going to affect your algorithmic positioning, because you're not delivering, and people will just be, and it's people start thumbing down, and I hate the thumbs down thing on YouTube. I found there's actually nothing more disheartening when I look at a video and it's got 4 likes, but one person's on thumbs down.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, why did you do that? Because it lowers the rating of my video, but obviously I also understand why it exists, because it's there to tell YouTube that you don't want that kind of content. And it tells YouTube not to show it to you as the viewer. But obviously, as a creator, it lowers the rating of that video or lowers the ranking of that video. And for me, I just go, oh, I mean, there was one that came out early November. What was it about? A new racing game called Forza Motorsport. Which I liked. I thought I'll jump in, I'll do kind of the tutorial thing and make something of that. One person disliked it, and I just kind of went, well, that's the end of that series then. That's the end of Forza Motorsport for me. No one watched it, or not many people watched it, and one person didn't like it. So yeah, bailed, gone. Not going to do anymore probably. I mean, I might do, but unlikely unless I do a multiplayer thing.
This is what I mean when I say, to some degree, you've just got to do it for yourself, because it might be the series, it might just be that video, it might just be that that person clicked the wrong button. They could have just gone, oh, thumbs up, and then hit thumbs down. They might just be an idiot. Who knows? But the thing is, there are certain things there, talking about the way of like conveying this like drama and this sort of time limited thing and everything to catch the audience. And I suppose there are certain things that definitely you can employ in the kind of videos that you do, because something's going to happen. But that requires you to be very high energy. With other things, of course, though, like with the podcast, it's you can't do this like, CJ came on the podcast, you won't believe what happened next. It's not going to work in the same way, is it?
The thing is, there are podcasters out there who do have that level of energy, and I'll be honest, I'm really trying to convey that level of energy. And me talking to you right now, anybody that watches any other podcast, I rarely get this animated about anything, but I'm trying to convey the energy of what some content creators are like. I mean, there are some very famous names out there who, when you watch their videos or watch their content, are just seemingly, and I'll explain that bit in a second, seemingly so full of beans and so full of energy and life. And you just think, I'm exhausted watching this person. I'm exhausted by how loud they are. I'm exhausted by the constant clipping around of camera views. And I'm just like, it's almost like an audio sensory overload. I feel like it's almost like an ADHD, not ADHD. What's the word I'm looking for? Like I don't know, probably ADHD. Some spectrum thing. Where I just go, this is hurting me because I can't follow what's happening because too much going on, too much sound, too much much visual stimulus, and it's almost distracting. And I don't want to say it hurts. That's probably the wrong thing, but it's almost that my brain can't keep up, and I just want to look away from it at that point. But there are some things where, if it's kind of crafted in the right way, you think, actually, I can sit here and watch this. And you say you've watched some stuff with your son, but you can't take your eyes off of it because there's enough stimulation there to keep you engaged, to stop you from turning away from it. But they've also probably posed something right at the very start of the video that's made you go, I need to hang around to find out what happens here. It's like, imagine watching like, oh, like those old TV shows like Storage Hunters. What's the one with the pawn shop? Oh, that's going to bother me now. It's sort of like Pawn Masters or something, Pawn Stars or something like that.
Yeah,
It's like people going to this shop and pawn off their stuff. And the way it's produced and edited and cut together is very, okay, someone comes in, and the narrator's like, this person just walked into the store and has opened and has revealed something, and it's taken and you see the emotion on like the pawnbroker's face. He's like that, oh my God. And you're like, what is it? I need to know what this is. But then they cut away to something completely different.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's what I want. Give me that. And it forces you to stay and watch to the end.
Well, yeah, I mean, in a lot of times they're cutting away to a break, but they might cut away to a what's going to happen next, or what's going to happen with something else.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've all, also there's Craig. He's just opened, a box. What's in that? Anyway, let's go back to this.
That's it. But then they'll tease the other thing every so often. They'll be like, but don't forget, this guy came in and revealed something that drove Jerry insane. Oh my God. And then it'll cut away back to Bob in the corner who's brought in a silver tray. And it's like, oh, this is very interesting. I'd say that's worth $20.
Yeah.
Or, and you're sitting there going, what is happening here that is causing such emotion to this person that I don't know on the TV?
And then you'll have a small montage of everything you've seen just before the ad break, and then when you come back from the ad break, then you've got a small montage of everything you've seen again. And then they get back into it, but it feels like you're still 2 steps back, and you're desperate to know exactly what's in that box.
And the bit that annoys me the most with those types of shows is it then gets to the big reveal, and you're like, is that it? Why have I just wasted half an hour of my life? I'm not getting that back. Damn you, Storage Hunters. You're like, but when you look at content on YouTube, it's exactly the same. There's like this big tease at the start and full of emotion, and there's so much happening that you're just like, what's going on? What has just happened, to make this person wet himself? What made this person scream so loudly? And it's just a snail on the floor or something. I don't know. But it just forces you to stay and watch. And that's what they're really banking on. And like I say, YouTube creators are exactly the same. I haven't gone that far. I don't think I can bring that level of energy for that amount of time.
I couldn't be that loud and annoying. I really, I can be annoying and quiet. But being that loud and full of energy is just not really possible.
I prefer passive aggression.
But they are, But they're worse. They're like, a lot of them are just so loud. And this is what's annoying, because I watch it and think this is terrible, but I keep watching it. And they're loud, and you can see what they're doing. You can see how they're working to a formula that has worked for the likes of Mr. Beast. And they're doing it, but they're doing it in their own way. But they're just loud. I keep saying they're loud, but they are loud. They're so loud.
But I think the same applies to what you'll see that TV shows, and I'll say especially reality TV shows, follow the exact same formula. Where it's and I don't mean things like Porn Star, Storage Hunters, but I'm talking about like Big Brother. I'm talking Survivor, Bear Grylls, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. All these and they all follow that same format of, oh, look what happens when this person decides to wrestle a snake. But you don't see anything. You just hear people screaming in the background, and you're like, I need to find out what happens.
Well, they're all just desperate for people to stay on the station or on that particular channel, and also, of course, when we talk about commercial TV, obviously they've got to hook people so that they stay through the adverts, which must be increasingly difficult, because as soon as the adverts come on now, when on those very rare occasions you watch real TV and it comes to the adverts and you can't wind it forward for whatever reason, And the adverts are appalling. I mean, I'm watching adverts at the moment, it being sort of Christmas time, so all the Christmas adverts, and they're all just absolutely appalling. You've got all these stupid fragrance adverts, and
Yeah.
they go, "Oh, je t'aime, le beurre, de beurre, de blah, blah, blah." And
Blah,
then there's a
blah,
bottle
blah.
at yeah, there's a bottle at the end of it. And you just think, well, what's this smell of? Tell us
Yeah.
that, something useful would be
But
instead of
again,
all that nonsense.
the psychology behind all of that is immensely powerful. So there's one that I watch American football, and I generally watch American football live,
Hmm.
which means that I get a lot of commercials and things like that, but even YouTube, before I went to YouTube Premium, because adverts do generally drive me insane.
Mm.
Um, you'd see, and fragrances are quite a big one. And the latest one, I can't remember who it's for, but all I remember is it was Johnny Depp, with his shirt open on a motorcycle. And then, like you say, it has this bottle, and he goes, "The new fragrance for men."
Mm.
Um, the psychology behind that is actually incredibly powerful, because people genuinely think that if they go and buy this fragrance, they will smell like Johnny Depp, and girls will love them, or they'll, take a dump on his pillow, or something.
Mm.
Um, so I guess
Could
that's
go
not
either
relevant
way.
anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know how relevant that is
yeah,
nowadays.
yeah. I could fix her.
Yeah. Um, but that's it. And it's like, and it was the whole thing. There was another advert that actually I really liked, and I really kind of liked the concept of it when I really stopped to think about what it was. And I think it was for a Jaguar, some kind of Jaguar.
Yeah.
Um, and it was like, no, it wasn't a Jaguar, whatever it was. But there was like this big black panther, and it jumped into the back of a car, and then the boot closed, and then the boot
Mm.
opened, and the Jaguar leapt out in such graceful fashion. And people suddenly go, well, if I buy that car, maybe I can get a Jaguar into my boot as well.
Yeah.
And and unfortunately, the general public, apologies, viewers, but the general public are quite stupid like that, and they genuinely think that's actually what's going to happen. And they think that actually, yeah, I'm going to be cool like a Jaguar, or I'm going to be able to, tame a Jaguar, a panther, and have it jump in the back of my car. And it just doesn't work like that. It was like it was the Lynx. I think there was a Lynx advert, Axe body spray for you Americans. Um, it was Lynx Africa or something, and it was like this guy spraying himself with Lynx. And I don't know if you've ever smelt Lynx body spray. It's horrible. It's so bad. Doesn't matter what
Hmm.
flavor you get. It's disgusting. Um, but then all these women come charging at him. The women start flocking
Yeah.
towards him by the hundreds.
Hmm.
And again, the power of that advert is, you spray yourself with this stuff, you'll get surrounded by women.
Yeah.
It's going back to the time tested, and the time tested thing of sex sells, because it
Yeah.
does.
But it doesn't work though. I mean, the amount of times I've been in changing rooms which actually completely stink of Lynx Africa. There's no girls there. No girls there. It's just that, but the smell lingers.
Yeah.
But the women just don't turn up.
So you almost expect them to be hammering on the door outside and let
Yeah,
us into the
that's right.
men's changing rooms. Like, no, because Lynx Africa is horrible.
Yeah.
Ask any woman. It's so bad. Oh, I flew out to America a few months ago, whenever it was. And on the way back, so the hotel I stayed in before flying home, the shower didn't work, and they didn't give me any towels. And I was just like, great, so I'm gonna end up sitting on a plane smelling really bad. So when I got into the airport, got through security, I had to spend a fortune on a pack of baby wipes,
Hmm.
and uh, Lynx Phoenix. Well, it was Axe in America, but it's
Right.
basically Lynx. But a fragrance called Phoenix. Now, it was one that actually, when it did exist in the UK, I actually really quite liked it. And
Hmm.
then I found this roll on, like, or stick deodorant, antiperspirant stick.
Hmm.
And I remember pulling the lid off and smelling it and going, that does not smell how I remember. I put the lid back on and put it back on the shelf. I'm just like,
Hmm.
nope, that's terrible. But I ended up getting some like Nivea thing instead, which was, smelled much nicer, much more
Hmm.
grown up, I think.
Hmm.
And I think when you're kind of a prepubescent teen, links is fine.
Yeah, all about the links. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. When you don't know how to wash yourself properly, and you just need a quick cover up, links will do the job. But as you grow older and you
Squatty wash.
squatty bath, yeah. Or some people might say a horse bath.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll keep it clean though, right? Yeah, squatty bath is the way to do it. But yeah, I think as I've grown up, those kind of fragrances just don't do it for me. It's just no. I mean, obviously they're not there to attract me, but I just don't find them a good scent anymore. I'd rather, get like Nivea Cool Kick or Sensitive or, something that feels a bit more grown up than Lynx. If I can buy it in the pound shop, I don't want it. As snobby as that sounds, if I can buy it in a pound shop, I'm not interested.
Okay. You can get pretty much anything in the pound shop, can't you?
True. None of it costs £1 though anymore.
No, that's why they're not called pound shops anymore. They're called B&M and stuff like that, aren't they?
Home bargains.
Home bargains.
Well, it's all about economy of scale in dollar stores or pound shops or whatever the European, African, Asian equivalents are, Australasian, and all that stuff. Because it's all about like you'll go in there because you need one thing. So let's say you want a key ring of some description, or I don't know, you need a doorstop, one door in your home.
I've never once gone out to buy either a key ring or a doorstop.
Okay, maybe they're bad examples. Let's think of something else that you might just want to have. You need
Lynx Africa.
Well, actually, no. You know what? Not actually a bad call. So let's say something like you need. No, actually, no, because they could be useful. So I'm going to stick with the doorstop analogy. So you think to yourself, actually, right, in my home, I could probably just do with a doorstop in the kitchen, just to stop it from closing, so I can keep the air flowing or whatever. So you want to go out and buy a doorstop. So you go to the pound shop and you go, oh, actually, while I'm here, I'm going to grab a doorstop. And you go looking around and you find the doorstops. You can't buy one. You have to buy 10. So what you end up with is your one doorstop that you wanted and 9 others that you have no idea what to do with. And the reason that works in a bargain shop like that is because it's all just bulk manufacturing, bulk purchasing, bulk packaging, and it just the cost to produce all of that is so low that even selling it for £1, the business is still making a load of money because they also know that you're going to take that home and you're just going to throw it away. You're going to use your 1 or 2 doorstops or your couple of key rings that you just bought 100 bag of because that was all you could find in the pound store. And the rest of it is just going to go in the bin or go in a drawer somewhere. It's never actually going to go to anybody else. You're not going to give it to your friends and say, "Hey, I just happen to have 98 key rings spare. Would you like them?" Doesn't happen that way, and they know that, and they also know that if anyone else needs a doorstop or some key rings, that's where they're going to go to the pound shop because it costs £1 or did cost £1.
It's like when I go out and I want to buy a paperclip.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of examples where I've just gone. All I've needed is
lighters is a good example because they always have these massive packs of lighters.
Yeah, I mean, that was it. You could always go and you could just buy a 10-pack of lighters. But again, I'm looking at that going over time they're useful because obviously we're not smokers anymore. But when we were, you'd just be like, right, 10 lighters, that's great. I can actually just like leave one in the car, leave one in my bag, leave one in the kitchen. And I've always got a lighter to hand. The other one, the one that really gets it's biros. I've got, and because I've recently moved house and I've just kind of more or less finished unpacking boxes and stuff now. And I came across a pack of 20 ballpoint pens, biros. Yep. I bought that pack from Tesco because I needed a pen to write in a birthday card. And I've just had this pack of pens ever since. I don't use them. I cannot remember the last time I used a pen from that pack.
Are the biros there? Or are they some sort of cheap alternative?
Just cheap alternative. I don't have one in my office here, but the standard plastic thing with a lid that you pull off and you can write and then put the lid back on. And it's not like a Bic. It's not a name brand. It's just Tesco's own. Super cheap, but we're going to make you buy a load of them to make it worth our time producing them.
Mm.
But you're just going to throw them in the drawer and forget about them for the next 20 years.
Yeah, I find pens are not pens are like mugs in a way. You can be pretty sure that you've got a house full of mugs and a house full of pens, but trying to find a pen that actually works
Yep.
is the hard bit because there'll be a load of pens, but there'll be really cheap stuff that you kind of picked up or you were given away or whatever it may be, and it takes you've got to take your pen and go and do these
Lick the end.
circles to get lick the end and all that sort of stuff to get it working. The only pen that I it's always nice to have a pen that works and also a pen that writes reasonably well. And I always
Mm.
have these gel pens.
Yeah.
What are they called? Uniball.
Yeah. So
And I like them when it's a thicker tip. Um,
it's right there, man. I could not laugh at that.
That's what she said. So and it writes really smoothly, which means that any
Mm.
other pen I'm just not interested in.
No, right.
I don't. Why would I buy a pen? Why would I buy a pen? Why would I want a free pen if somebody says, "Oh, here's a pen," and they never work properly, and you can't rely on them. And the other annoying thing is, people around you never throw pens away. I can't. As soon as a pen stops working, it should go straight in the bin.
Hmm. In the vinegar or the
If somebody
recycling, yeah.
if somebody puts a pen that doesn't work down on any surface, they should be thrown in the bin because they're doing everybody a disservice because somebody along the line is going to pick up that pen and think, oh, here's a pen. Oh, that doesn't work. No, it didn't. It didn't work for the last person. But they were so self-centered that they decided they couldn't be asked to go and put it in the bin. So somebody else has got to do that. Or more than likely, somebody else will pick it up and go, oh no, that doesn't why people keep these pens that don't work? And then they'll put it down.
Yep.
And then somebody else will do exactly the same thing. And the other thing that seems to be in bulk in every household is mugs because you get mugs for everything. And then somebody will give you a mug at Christmas or a mug at Easter, a mug with an Easter egg in it. I don't even drink that much in terms of things you would have in a mug.
I have my favorite coffee mug. I have a set of four, you know, mugs which match the rest of my crockery, my plates and bowls and things, because I like things that match. And then I have an array of other mugs that are either varying sets or I just think they go well together. So, like, I've got a couple of mugs with Union Jacks on them. I've got some Royal Air Force mugs of varying descriptions that I may or may not have collected from varying RAF stations over the years. And I've got a couple of Skull Crusher coffee ones because I quite like Skull Crusher coffee, and they usually come with a free mug. So it's nice to kind of build that collection. But I, like you, I'm just also like, I don't drink that much coffee. It's like I use one mug a day, maybe two mugs a day. So I'll have a mug for my coffees in the morning. I'll make a pot of coffee. That's 3 mugs of coffee I drink, in a few hours. And then I might use a separate mug to make a cup of tea in the evening, a cup of like red bush tea. But generally, I'm either washing them up that night or the next day, or they're going in the dishwasher, and the dishwasher will get put on once every few days, to clean everything. But I don't go through that many mugs. I don't need as many mugs as I have. Actually, when I moved to my house in Bedford, before I moved here, I actually got rid of so many mugs. I just had too many. I just thought, this is just too many. I don't need this many. It's me. I live on my own. I don't need that many. I'm rarely going to entertain so many people that I don't have enough mugs for them, if ever. So I'm good.
I do feel like I should be in the mug business because there are just so many mugs about, and everybody has too many mugs. And the thing is, and it's right what you're saying, but I mean, generally speaking, most people have a favorite mug, and a lot of people, most people in the world, will just always drink from the same mug.
I generally always drink from the same, especially my coffee mug. I do actually wash that every day.
Yeah.
So I can use it the next day. I don't put that in the dish. I can put it in the dishwasher, but I don't. I prefer to wash it out every day.
if I get a nice mug, more chance of me using it actually for keeping pens in it. I have a
Right.
mug, but it's full of pens that don't fucking work. That's what happens to the mugs. But the other thing with mugs is actually when it comes to having a cup of tea, I much prefer a cup and saucer.
Okay.
So out of choice, I wouldn't even have a mug. But I'm damned if I'm throwing those mugs away.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm a victim of, no, victim's the wrong word. I've grown up in the world of you can have things bigger.
Mm,
So having a teacup with for tea is never enough. I feel like I
right.
get three mouthfuls out of it and I'm done. And I'm
That's what
like,
she said.
well, yeah. I'm like, where? But I go, where's the rest of the tea?
Well, the
You
thing,
know, oh, it's still in the pot, but now I've got to
yeah.
pour that and just give me a bigger mug and put the whole thing in, and I'll be happy. I'm content with this.
Mm. Yeah, I'm probably the opposite because I think if there's a mug that's too big, I mean, sometimes people have, oh, look at my mug, and they're all about the fact that they've
Because
got a mug that's massive,
as big as their face, yeah.
a pint mug, or one of those ones,
Too much.
you know that chubby shop where people buy trainers.
Oh, Sports Direct.
That's it.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
Yeah. So
Sports.
the ones where they have the big those big mugs that they get there, I can't stand it because
No,
it's just it's too much tea, and um, it won't be long before the tea is a bit cold, and then I don't want to drink it, and then I'm just throwing it away. I'd
I
much rather have
remember.
a much smaller mug.
I remember years ago in one of my old jobs where you'd have to make rounds of tea. Like, oh, it's your turn to go make the round of tea. I'm like, I don't want tea or
Mm,
coffee. Yeah, I'm quite content with my bottle of water, thanks. Oh, but we're all really thirsty and all that nonsense that goes on. There was one person that had one of those massive Sports Direct mugs.
mm,
And I, like you, do not like them at all. And they were very unimpressed with me when, they wanted their cup of coffee and they tried to tell me how to make coffee in this massive mug. And I was like, well, no, you're no better than anybody else. You're still getting 1 teaspoon of coffee grounds,
mm, mm.
and a load of water and a splash of milk, same as everybody else.
Yeah.
That's it. And they can, oh, it's too watery. I was like, don't have such a big mug. Why should? But I'm sitting there going, you're basically you are in essence, if I do it the way you want me to do it, you're getting in essence 3 cups of coffee out of me
Yeah.
to your or to my 1 cup of coffee that I get out of you when you make your round. So actually, no, the economics here don't work out, and I'm not going to subscribe to your way of doing things. They weren't happy. They really weren't happy with me. But yeah, I can't stand those things. Just like because that they are impractical. I genuinely think they are completely impractical. I think I had a giant mug once. I can't remember what it was or what it was for. It was many, many years ago. And eventually I just got rid of it because it's just impractical.
Yeah.
It's of no real use to me.
Yeah.
A standard mug sized mug is actually more than enough for that mug, for
Mm,
that version of the beverage. Um, I don't need any bigger. But on the same vein, this is what I'm used to. I don't want smaller. So if I'm making tea, I don't want to drink it out of a teacup because I feel it's too small.
mm.
But like I say, that's just me and how I've been brought up. And,
Yeah.
you know,
You
um,
can get bigger teacups though. Um,
they have a weird shape though.
you think?
Yeah, well, because they're generally like much wider at the top, aren't they, than a coffee mug?
Yes, although I
And you
do
get your,
quite I do like a a rounded one.
yeah, it's like a
I think
bowl.
there's still yeah a bit like a bowl. There's still
Yeah,
variety out there.
yeah, it's a bowl with a
Yeah.
handle. But, still weird to me. But
We know we're
well,
talking about mugs though. It just makes me think of and I don't get the emails anymore, and I assume they're still going. I'm sure they are, but I used to get emails all the time, every day, usually because I was um I was a customer and I kept on buying things with a company called Vistaprint.
oh yeah, I remember
Yeah,
them.
and yeah, and it kind of again, it's a bit like addiction. It's a bit like they're pushing drugs or something because they start off with, wouldn't you like some business cards? And you think, well, that'd be quite handy. I've started a new endeavor, or it'd be handy to be able to hand out a business card. Which kind of dates it a bit. I don't think people use those anymore. Um, and then they say, well, actually, what you could do is you could have all of this on a mouse mat. And you think, I don't know why I need that, but I'll have it. Or
Cool.
or it's got a calendar. So you can have your name or your brand or your logo with and a calendar. And then it just sort of spills out into other things like pens. So you could have cheap pens with whatever you want written on it, mugs with whatever you want written on it. And I went through a period of I had a couple of times I had a business and I thought, first thing I thought was, I'll have a mug. So
Company
I got
mug. Yep.
mugs. You got mugs. If you got mugs, you got a business.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you're tempted to buy a mug for pretty much everything. Hey, you can get
Uh,
mugs as gifts and all sorts of things.
Nothing says I know what I'm doing as a business owner than inviting visitors to your place of business and offering them a beverage and presenting it to them in a branded mug.
Mm.
Yeah, where you go, because it is literally, it's almost like the modern day business card. Because, like I say, a lot of people don't use business cards anymore because you just go, oh, just copy down my phone number, save it into your phone. We're good. No problem. It's all done on smartphones. Or you get digital business cards now, and you can just like hold up a QR code and people can scan it, and it'll
Mm.
save all your contact info in their phone or whatever. So I feel like the corporate mug is almost like the modern day business card. It's the I am a professional. I've invited you to my place of work. I am, providing hospitality for you, and my business is professional enough that we can afford um, corporate mugs.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the same as a business card. I mean, imagine if it was though. Imagine if that was the modern equivalent. So
Mm.
you go to a networking event and you say, "Oh, hello, my name's Ted. Here, have a mug with my name and telephone number on it." You
Well, I was
just
just
go
about to
around giving
say,
out mugs.
well, I was just about to say, how often I mean, I don't know the last time you went to some kind of corporate networking event or anything like that, but yeah, you go to stands and then you basically you get a swag bag.
Mm.
You get a bag that's full of your marketing materials, including pens, mugs, notepads, coasters, um, fucking cakes, anything and everything that you get to slap your logo on with your email address, website, and telephone number.
Mm.
That is your new business card.
Mm.
You need PR stuff, or you need whatever your business is. You need, IT. You need, marketing, sustainability. You need something. Here, have a mug with my phone number on it.
Mm.
So whenever you pick that up and you drink from it, you go, oh, actually, yeah, I'll give these guys a call. I guess that's the
So
premise of it, isn't it? I
yeah.
feel like I'm trying to sound like a marketing genius. I'm really not. I
Well,
do not
maybe,
work in
maybe,
marketing.
maybe, maybe you actually are, because even now I'm thinking, yes, I can just imagine me now with my Ted James podcast mug.
Oh, Ted, you reminded me. I completely messed up today. I have my first merchandise, which is a thermos mug, which somebody kindly had made for me. And I think actually this would have been the ideal opportunity to showcase it to the world, to drink my beverage from my branded thermos mug. So I'll have to get a photo and send it to you, or we'll take a break and I'll go make a drink in it and come back. Rather than my regular pint glass that I put orange juice in, it's actually I should have put it into my branded thermos. But it's things like that, and actually kind of trying to go full circle and bring it back to content
Oh
creation.
yes,
That's
content creation. I've forgot
yeah,
all about
this is, and it's actually
that.
it's something that is very prevalent with some of the bigger creators. Is actually designing and marketing your own merchandise
Mm.
as another source of income. Well, you can create your own website, or you can either make it and post it and sell it and deal with it all yourself on your own website, or you can actually have, there are many businesses out there. The first one that springs to mind is Teespring. You can go to Teespring and you can upload your design, and it's like, do you remember Cafe Press?
No.
As a Because they did the same thing. They're basically like Vistaprint but better.
Mm.
So you could go on to you basically upload your design to Teespring or Cafe Press. Um, but they basically sit there in perpetuity, um, and you basically get access to it, and it's all free.
Hmm.
You get access to your own personal website link to their website. So it would be, for example, like, go to teespring.com, and it will come up with your site, and it will basically have everything that they sell: t-shirts, mugs, mouse mats, calendars, notepads, pens, etc., etc., all designed with your logo that you have uploaded onto their website, and they print on demand. It's like Amazon when you actually order books that are published by Amazon now. It's all print on demand, and you can still have it done next day or a couple of days. It's just much better than from what I remember of Vistaprint. Vistaprint used to take quite a while to produce your stuff and send it to you. Teespring and Cafe Press were generally a lot faster. Like I say, I think Teespring is one of the big ones that I know about now, certainly from a creator's point of view.
It's like a white label thing, isn't it? So you can have your own page with your own merch on there, and they're at the back end just saying, printing it and sending it out.
Yeah, because it's basically it's that business. So it's Teespring in the back end going, well, this is our stock of stuff that we can print onto. So you just give us the logo and we'll print it as and when someone orders it. And it's this whole ginormous, machine of people ordering things and it being picked out by a robot and printed on and put in a box and then shipped out with your address on it. It's actually a really clever thing, and it has worked wonders for many content creators out there. I haven't done it yet. My community is nowhere near big enough for me to warrant creating merchandise for it. It's just not worth it right now for me. But one day it might be. Never say never. And I could easily see myself going on to Teespring and uploading my channel logo, some other funky designs that I like. So I do. If I have I do some like role play gaming type stuff, and if I have like regular characters that appear in some of these videos, I generally give them their own branding or their own logo. It could be something as simple as swapping out the hat for a cowboy hat, for example, because the character that I'm reusing is a bit of a redneck. So I've just given it's the same avatar, it's the same logo, just with a cowboy hat on. But it's simple enough that actually I like it, and it makes me think it just adds a bit of variety. But anyway, so you can add as many designs onto these websites as you want, and then people can buy them. And I think that's something I could see myself doing with all the logos. My standard channel logo, I've got a policeman logo, and like I said, I've got the cowboy hat guy, and it's like I could see myself uploading all of those, and so if people wanted to buy them, they absolutely could. And like I say, go to Teespring or Cafe, but I don't think Cafe Press is really around anymore. I haven't heard much from them. Teespring, like I say, is the one that I know most creators tend to use. Unless they set something up themselves, but
I think there was something else called like Spreadshirt or something, or something like that. But again, a very similar sort of thing, and I think a lot of it starts with t-shirts and stuff like that. So t-shirts and hoodies seem to be the most popular thing.
Yeah, oh, there you go. Yeah, just looking at it now. So yeah, and that's it. You scroll through that website and you go, oh, they've got mugs, they've got phone cases, like you say, hoodies, t-shirts, sweatshirts, toys, pillows. All of it will be printed, and that's the key. I think that's the key thing to remember with all of it is, unless you're paying a premium for some service somewhere, it's all screen printed on. So I guess it's kind of a bit of a crapshoot as to the longevity of that item once you've bought it, and how you look after it, how often you wear it or use it or whatever. But it's such an easy solution to put your product out into the market. Because it's just all there pre-designed. I mean, there's a friend of mine, I say a friend of mine, someone I used to work with, who made this t-shirt. He's the one that actually kind of put me on to Teespring to start with. He said, because he made these special t-shirts for a friend of his, for one of his colleagues that was leaving the company. So we had these t-shirts made, and I'm like, how did you do that? And he was like, he literally turned it around in a couple of days, and he went, no, just uploaded my logo. They sent me a sample. I told them what size I needed for the sample. They sent it out the next working day, and I've got myself a free t-shirt. And I'm like, that's amazing. And it's, again, because it's all free, because they obviously just take their cut of, their slice off the top when people buy stuff. And again, that's how their model works. I was like, actually, that's amazing. And he said he was actually seriously considering, because he was a bit of an artist as well. He was seriously considering uploading a lot of his art onto this website to start selling merchandise based on his artwork.
Yeah.
And again, he was trying to find the right way to market it. And it's like, there's only so much you can do in social media. He was like looking into like actual advertising campaigns and things like that. And I was like, fair play. So I don't know how successful it was. I think I left the business before we had a chance, but yeah. So like I say, yeah, the whole content creation thing and your marketing and business cards and things like that. The way to do it as a content creator now is to go onto a website like Teespring, Spreadshirt, anything like that, where you get to upload a logo and they basically just have whatever stock they have, and it's generally down to that business that they buy it. And again, it's all buying in bulk. So the costs are very low to produce all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And they just screen print your logo onto it or whatever design you've uploaded. And you make money, they make money, everybody wins out of it. So long as people are actually buying your products.
Well, I suppose that's one way of monetizing what you do. But I mean, when we're talking about content creation, like what are the other ways? I mean, obviously there are things like with YouTube, you've got adverts, so you can get paid per view. Then you've got the merch. I mean, what other kind of stuff? What other kind of things are out there? I'm just trying to think.
For content creators, I mean, as you said there, so you get to monetize your channel once you reach 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours inside a year. But they've recently changed the rules on it as well. I'll say the rule. They've changed the policy slightly. So actually, you can now monetize after 500 subscribers and I believe 2,000 views. And they've adjusted it again for YouTube Shorts as well. And I think like if you get 3 million watches of a short and your 500 subscribers, you can then also monetize your channel. But it's not monetizing as in getting ad revenue. It's monetizing as in adding buttons to or paid memberships or subscriptions or again selling your merch on YouTube because you can sell your merch direct on YouTube now. So they actually brought that criteria. They've lowered it for people who want to create a members community so they can actually earn money through memberships and subscriptions that way. But the standard ad revenue generation side of YouTube is still the same. Still 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours, or 1,000 subscribers, and I think it's actually 10 million views on a short or on shorts in not on just one, but on shorts in general.
Yeah.
If you have 1,000 subscribers and 10 million views on your shorts, you can then monetize your channel. But again, and it's where it kind of goes back to your click-through rate, your viewer numbers. I'm really trying to boost your presence and get people to actually watch your content and really get those numbers up. And it's like once you get to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, the ad revenue generated from that is not a lot. It's almost like that. It's the threshold where advertisers say, okay, we will invest money into this person or into YouTube for YouTube to then invest it into that creator just to make it worth our while, just to break even on it. So you don't earn a lot from that. But you just have to keep pressing on and keep growing your channel to become big and actually live on it. And it's like some of the creators I follow has taken. I mean, one of the guys, he said it took him 6 years to monetize on YouTube. No, it took him a couple of years to monetize, but to get to a point where he could live on that revenue took him like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
Because he had to just and again, there are ways to inorganically grow your channel. I don't think it's personally, it's not something I think is the right thing to do. I've seen it a few times. Again, some of the people in one of the gaming communities I'm in, I have heard rumors that they have paid for subscribers and followers on their varying platforms, and when you kind of go and watch, or look at their content, they're still not getting the viewer numbers. So you're like, great, you've got the subscribers, but people still aren't watching your stuff. So you've basically paid, whatever the price is, $5, $10, whatever it is, for a number of bots or someone to sit there and manage a number of accounts to then go to your thing and subscribe to your channel and to their, but you're then also relying on the fact that these people are going to be watching it. And, I think the short answer is they're not. If it's one person doing it all themselves, they're not going to sit there and watch all of your content because they're doing it for 2,000 other people as well who have also paid them money to do it. And it feels like a false economy. And not something I think I'd ever recommend doing. I mean, I don't have any evidence to support this. It's not something I've researched. I just think kind of in my mind, when I think about that kind of thing, I just don't think it's the right thing to do. I'd rather try and grow organically. And if I can't grow, it's me as a creator on my YouTube channel, or on both of my YouTube channels, if I cannot grow them organically, it means that I'm doing something wrong, or it means that I am just not the right person for people to be watching. And I then have to evaluate what that is and try to
I don't know if that's true.
Working it out.
I think that there's always, it's about matching the viewers to the content creator. I think in terms of the stuff that you do, even if you've got stuff that might go up and you just think, well, that's that's not getting the views. It's not necessarily that it's underrated. It's just that the right person hasn't had it come in front of them.
Exactly.
And if they did, they'd be watching it, and then they'd watch the next one and the next one. And I think that's it. It's about trying to find those. YouTube will do what it can for its viewers, to give them content, to give the content to the viewers that they are likely to want. But yeah, it's quite easy to kind of miss a trick somewhere along the line, so that you're not one of those things that is being put in front of them.
And I think it sort of goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the title and the thumbnail. YouTube, the John Smith down the street likes to watch Grand Theft Auto role play type videos. So like cops and robbers type things, or just things where people go and they play GTA 5, but there's almost like a specific role play that they want to do with it. They're not just playing the story, they're actually doing something more creative with it, which is great. There are thousands of creators out there that do this. I'm now one of them. And like I say, and there are varying degrees of success. But John Smith down the road, that's what he likes to watch. So actually, on his feed, if he starts scrolling through his phone, YouTube will start presenting him with my content because I label it as roleplay, as Grand Theft Auto, as all this other stuff that is designed to get people like John Smith to watch my content. He's scrolling through his phone, but if my thumbnail doesn't basically punch him in the face as soon as he sees it, he's just going to scroll straight past it.
Yeah.
Or even if my thumbnail looks pretty good and he goes, oh, all right, what's this about? And my title just said, I hit a tree and this happened. He's going to go, nope, not interested, gone. See you later. Or if my title has nothing to do with my thumbnail, vice versa, he's just going to scroll straight past.
Yeah.
So it's my job as a creator to do my best to market that video with these two things that somebody will look at when they are scrolling through their phone: the thumbnail and the title. And if I get one of those wrong, I don't get any views. And actually, and I can give you some specific examples most recently about that. Like I said, I've said about the Forza Motorsport video that it hasn't done particularly well, and it did get a thumbs down as well. The title for that was "Welcome to Forza." The thumbnail is a picture of cars going around a racetrack, which I've doctored slightly to make it brighter and a bit more poppy. But in terms of actually how I would create a thumbnail for that video, I really struggled with it. And the subsequent Forza video that I made after that, which did even worse than the first one, again, the thumbnail is a bright poppy car in a fairly plain-ish background.
Yeah.
Again, because I wanted the car to pop out. That's what I wanted. And the title of it was Overcooking the Corners, I think I called it. Because I basically spent the entire video crashing through corners because I was approaching them too fast. In racing terms. But because my thumbnail, now I've thought about it, the thumbnail has nothing to do with that title. If I'm called that Overcooking Corners, my thumbnail should actually be something of a picture of a car on a racetrack driving off of a corner because it's clearly gone too fast.
Yeah.
And then, again, something with a shocked face.
Yes.
Or something that's going to make, force the viewer to go, oh, what actually happened there? I need to go and find out beyond someone just crashing out of corners. And they might find that then compelling. But like I say, if either of those two things are wrong, John Smith down the road is just going to scroll straight past it. So it's my job as the creator to market that as best I can. And they're the two things to do it with. You can take that with anything, however you want to think about that. That's like I say, they're racing games, they're role play games. I want to do some driving simulator type games. So there's a game called American Truck Sim. So you basically get to simulate being a truck driver. Great. Sounds, I actually really enjoy it. I find it incredibly relaxing. I haven't made any content on it yet because actually those kind of videos require a bit more commentary, and I'm not really a commentator when it comes to videos. I just, there's only so much I can say, beyond, oh, I've just shifted gear. And no, nobody wants that. It's boring. People will just click away from that incredibly quickly.
So the one thing that you have got though is a lot of content creators. What?
Gingerbeard.
You have got, well,
I used to have a ginger beard.
You used to have a ginger beard. You're
until the tragic accident.
A tragic accident. But the one thing that you have, of course, is with your genre of videos is there's a lot of people who show their face in the corner, or just like their head popping out of in the middle of the screen, sometimes moving about just to create a bit more what's going on.
Yeah.
You don't do that though. You haven't got your face on your channel, but of course that kind of works for other creators. Is that something that you might do? Or of course you've got things like different camera angles, or even switching camera view, because you've got your cameras set up so that you can view what you're looking at on your desk. And I see people doing that as well, particularly with the gaming channels. I mean, does that not kind of help to sort of personalize it a bit?
I feel that there's a few different things to really talk about there. And I have done face cam on videos before. And when I've gone back to, or when I've rewatched those videos later on, there's a few things I think about. It's, what do I look like? And it's no big secret I don't particularly rate my looks that much. I mean, I am overweight. I've got a chin that looks like Peter Griffin's, just with a bit of ginger stubble on right now. But usually I have a bigger beard. But there was a tragic accident. So I don't really rate my looks. So when I look at myself in a video, I just think, is that something people want to be looking at? But at the same time, I also just think about the value add. And does me showing my face on a video while I'm playing a game, does it provide any value to the viewer? And quite honestly, for me, I think not. If I was more expressive when playing a game, or if I was more reactive to things, probably, I'd say actually yes. So like, again, in a racing simulation game, when I do, completely mess up a corner and crash my car, and I scream and go, whoa, and wave my hands in the air and all this stuff, that could be entertaining. But that's not how I play. That's not what I'm like when I play games. So actually, I just don't see the value in me adding my face to any video. For right now, that may change over time. I played a couple of horror games, actually, which would have been really good to have my face on, because I don't do horror. I get scared so easily, and I imagine my facial expressions while I was playing these games was probably so good that it would have really made it worthwhile to have my face on the videos. But at the time, I just didn't want to do it. It just wasn't. I wasn't comfortable doing that for myself. So I didn't. But I think if I did them again, or if someone managed to convince me to play a horror game again, I would potentially put a camera on, to do my face, because I think that would be quite entertaining. But yeah, it all comes down to the value of putting your face on there. Some people will do it, and I've watched them and gone, well, all that I'm looking at is just a person in the corner. who is acting how I think I act when I play a game. And that's very focused, just like, you can see the focus in their face, and it's just like, you've added nothing to your video for that. And actually, if anything, you've kind of detracted for what's happening on the screen because I'm looking at you down here and trying to figure out what you're doing. So yeah, in those cases, there's no value to it. But like I said, I mean, there's plenty of channels who do show their faces, who show some very nice backgrounds, all lit up in RGB or whatever it is that they do, or they've got their play button behind them, that kind of thing. But they're also really quite expressive. And, I, as you probably say every now and again, I talk with my hands quite a lot. I can't do that when I'm playing a game because I'm playing the game.
Yeah, that's true.
So my hands don't even come into it.
Yeah.
And also when I'm talking while playing a game, I guess my face isn't as expressive as it is right now because I'm focused on the game. But again, you get me into the right kind of game, I imagine I probably would be quite expressive and it would be entertaining. But yeah, I've seen other people where they've got all this nice stuff and actually it is entertaining because they are expressive, they're energetic. They're, again, they'll play a kind of game, I don't know, they'll play like Call of Duty where they're shooting everyone and they're all like, yeah, hoorah, and all that stuff. And then when they get shot, they go, no, and it's all expression and, and reaction. And that's what makes it entertaining when it's just not what I do.
Yeah.
The second camera angle, as you mentioned, I do have a second camera that's set up on a tripod that I can move around, and they're actually really good for simulation type games. So like I mentioned the driving simulator. I play flight sims as well. Haven't made any content or anything like that for a little while, but it's something I want to get back into. They're really useful, when you have the control sets to play these games effectively. So people can see your setup and the controls that you use while you're playing the game. When it is quite technical, like a truck driving sim or a flight sim, there's a lot of buttons to press. When it's just you clicking a mouse around a screen or pressing buttons on a keyboard, and then you're just steering a steering wheel, like Postman Pat as he goes down the road, Postman Pat. That's not entertaining, and that's not. Again, there's no value to that. All I'm looking at is just someone moving a steering wheel and then occasionally leaning over that steering wheel to press something on the keyboard.
Yeah.
That to me is like, well, I guess maybe it's a learning thing. I'm not learning anything out of that because I know I can do that already. I've got a keyboard, I've got a steering wheel, I've got pedals. It doesn't matter. I can do that myself. What I'm interested in is the equipment that they use outside of the normal, if you like. So there's people you can get like button boxes. Again, thinking about the flight sim and driving sim, you can get like boxes that have like programmable switches and toggles and things, and you kind of look at that and go, well, actually, that's kind of cool. I wouldn't mind looking into something like that. And then it kind of almost drives that keeping up with the Joneses mentality of, okay, so the next time I play this, I want that because I want the simulation side of it.
Yeah.
Without that kind of stuff, you turn your simulator into, or your simulation game footage into a game. Because, okay, you spent a bit of money on a decent steering wheel. Okay, not bad. But you're still using your keyboard and your mouse to do other things. That's just very gamer. Whereas if you have complete, like full set of control boxes and control surfaces, then actually you've turned it into a simulator. You don't need to touch the keyboard, you don't need to touch the mouse because you've got everything programmed in these other controls. And it feels like a simulator, and that's more engaging. So if I ever get to that stage, maybe yes, I'll put my what I call wheel cam back on, where I can actually use all of that. But yeah, I think for now, face cam is probably not on the cards for me until I lose a lot of weight and suddenly, turn into, I don't know, Channing Tatum, and become incredibly handsome, where people just want to watch me for me, rather than go, who's this fat idiot with a ginger beard? I mean, I'll leave you with my kind of final nuggets of information that I found out for myself. And, I haven't employed all of these, but these are just some things that I've really found out over time. And it's cut out the silence. If you've got silence in your video, just cut it out. Because there was nothing worse than you're watching an instructional video or, even a gaming video to some degree, and there's just a period of silence where nothing happens. Just get rid of it. Cut it out. Your viewers will like you for that. And again, it's almost like it's going back to that quick fire, changing camera angles, noise all the time, music, sound effects, all of this stuff. If there's any silence in there, you're going to immediately lose your audience. They're going to be like, oh, oh, it's over then, and then click away, and they're out, they're gone.
Yeah.
What else was there? There was one other thing that I was going to say, and it was based off something you just said, and I can't now remember what it was. Oh, that was the other thing. Yeah. Do your research. And again, this is definitely a case of do as I say, not as I do, because I've done so much research and I'm still learning and I'm still trying to get it right. Think about what it is that you want to achieve and go away and figure out how to do that. So you want to do a particular, I don't know, a transition in your video. You want to learn how to swipe, literally take scene A, scene B, and swipe them across from one to the other. Just research it. Go away and learn how to do it. You're always going to be learning as a creator. You're always going to figure out something new that you want to do. Let your creativeness, creative juices run wild, but write everything down. Write down your ideas that you've got, whether it's a transition or a scene or music or a sound effect. Write it down so you can then go away and find it. Go away and figure out how to implement that into your video. And I think more importantly, when it comes to the research, is if you have a specific idea of what you want to do, watch other YouTube videos like what you want to do. So I have watched no end of Grand Theft Auto 5 roleplay videos from creators around the world to see not so much what works, but what I like. Yeah. So I can emulate that. I can channel these other creators into what I'm doing. I can take bits of, something from this video and something from that video, or this creator style, that creator style, and put it into my video. But really, it's almost like finding that inspiration for what you want to do. If it's a vlog type video, watch vlogs. Think to yourself, okay, well, what would I do a vlog about? Okay, I want to do a vlog about adventures when I walk the dog. Great, people love dogs, and that's actually probably going to be really successful if you do that. But watch other vlogs about a similar subject and see what kind of things people are talking about, what kind of things people are doing. And again, but think deeper than just what is immediately in front of you. Think about how they edit that in the background. So once they've recorded everything, because you'll end up with hundreds of hours of footage, how do they edit all those hundreds of hours down into 30-minute episodes? And then think about, listen to it really carefully. Have they added sound effects into it, even if it's just ever so subtle in the background that, to Joe average person watching, they just don't notice it. But to you as a creator and someone who is thinking about all of this, you'll watch your video and you'll be like, there's just something missing. And you'll go back and watch something else and be like, actually, I heard the famous Wilhelm scream. If you don't know what it is, don't Google it, because once you've heard it, you can't unhear it, and you will hear it everywhere you go. In every video where someone has put a Wilhelm scream in there, you will hear it. And it is incredibly frustrating sometimes. But sometimes you'll just think, actually, they've put a Wilhelm scream in there for some reason, but it works. So maybe that's something I need to think about with my video. In a similar scenario, do I need to put a Wilhelm scream, or do I need to put a punching sound effect, or a cartoon running away sound effect? Because that's what I think, but it just, remember, it just doesn't have to be in your face. You don't have to put these sound effects and ambient noises and Foley and if you have to do like overdubbing, you don't have to do it so it's perfect. Or well, you want to obviously strive for perfection. You don't have to do these things so they're so in your face that you lose sight of what's actually happening on screen. And I think that's a really important one. But yeah, do your research is kind of my last nugget there. Like I say, whether it's the how-to or whether it's just you're searching for inspiration for what you want to do, go away and watch other creators and see what they do. Take your inspiration from that.
I'll add to that, because the beauty of the beauty of YouTube is that you can be watching a video and thinking, oh, I really like the way they did that. How did they do that? You work out in your head what it kind of was. What did you see? And then stick those words back in the search bar at the top, and somebody somewhere will have done a video showing you actually how to do that. Somebody will have done that, and you will find out. So in the space of 10 minutes, whatever it may be, you will discover how to do it, and then you can go onto your video editing software or get your sounds, or somebody's going to show you how to do it, and then put it into your own stuff as well.
Yeah, in your video editing software, or even audio editing, if you want to be an audio editor, presets are your friend. When you do a specific type of edit, whether it's a transition or a particular sound effect or something that you put in. If you can save it as a preset, save it as a preset, because then they'll all appear in one folder called presets, hopefully, depending on your software. And you can just call upon them whenever you need. One thing I found, there's a transition I use fairly regularly. It's called a whip. So again, it's you have scene A, scene B, and you want to quickly transition from one to the other. And it does this via a whip or a wipe or something. What I found was the default one was too slow. I wanted it to be really snappy and really punchy, and so I could then put a kind of a whoosh sound effect over the top of it, so it goes like that. And it's I like that as a transition, but I found myself every time I put it in, I'd have to go into the controls and make it shorter or make it faster, until I actually just figured out, why don't I just save this as a preset? And now it's saved as a preset. I can just go into my presets folder and go, that's the one I want, click and drag, it's done. I don't have to mess around with it each time anymore. And it saves you, okay, it may save you a few seconds each time, but if you use that transition 3 or 4 times in one video, you've saved yourself a minute.
Yeah.
And it all adds up in the end. So presets are your friend, absolutely.
And if you want to know how to set a preset, all you need to do is get onto YouTube and type in how to set a preset.
How to create presets.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And the other bit, this is my final point now, is when you start searching for things, I'm like Columbo, just one more thing. When you actually need a cigar now, just one more thing. When you start researching how to do things in a video edit, or even an audio edit, and as you said, Ted, find that everything is available on YouTube. Someone somewhere has had the same question as you at some point, so it's quite easy to find what you need. The first few times you might struggle because you'll be like, well, actually, what is that called? Or how would I describe that? And you're trying to find videos that match your description of what's happening rather than the actual thing that's happening.
Yeah.
What you'll just find is over time, you'll just start to kind of learn the names of these things and really how to optimize your own searching within YouTube. So again, it's like, you'll use words like transition or presets or equalizer or these words that anyone that knows nothing about anything like that they're just words. But you will learn actually what they are, what they mean, what the point of them is. And you'll start using them in your search terms more and more. And it's like, green screen, anything. So I used like a smoke popping effect on one of my videos and put a nice little sound effect underneath it. I knew exactly what I was looking for, but could I figure out how to word that in YouTube? Not a clue. So I literally just went puff of smoke, green screen, and that was literally all I typed. And I think it was the second or third video that came up was exactly what I was looking for, and it was just a green screen with a white smoke effect kind of popping out from the middle. And it's like, right, I'll have that, and I can load it in, I can get rid of the green, all of that stuff. And yeah, you just start to kind of in your mind, your thought processes will change, and your own search terms and what you think you need to be looking for will change, and things will become a lot quicker. It's very difficult to be a creator, and I'm not saying that as just a oh woe is me type thing. Creating is really difficult. It doesn't come, because if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Yeah.
It seems like everyone does it, but not everyone does it, and there's reasons for that, because it's time consuming, it's difficult, it's stressful. But once you get it, and once you start seeing fruits of your labor, it's worth it. I think, if you are an aspiring content creator, just don't give up. Keep going, no matter what, no matter the cost. Well, I'd say no matter the cost, but we must.
No matter how many people have to die,
exactly,
you will make it.
Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost. But it's really stressful. No matter how much time it takes, no matter how demotivated you feel after sitting down and working on a video for 10 hours, to suddenly realize that you haven't saved it and your computer's just crashed. Happened to me last week. I was really annoyed, but you
That's happened to me so many times with the Tuesday show, and I mean, you know how complicated that was with lots of things, and then all of a sudden there's a picture of a badger, and then it's something else, and then it's
Yeah.
a tank.
The message is persevere, no matter what it
Persevere.
is. Keep
Yeah.
going, and it will feel like you're smashing your face. You know, you've shoved two of these free pens that you've got some networking event up your nose and smashed your face against the desk. But genuinely, keep going. For yourself, keep going. You'll feel so good about it afterwards.
Do you know what? Whenever if that ever does happen, it's interesting because when you've worked on something for hours upon hours, and then you go back to it and it's not saved or it's cocked up in some sort of a way, and you're like, oh, that was all that work, all those hours of work. Actually, it's so much easier to do it the next time. It
Hmm.
takes time, but it's so much easier. And when you do it again, actually, you end up with a better product than you would have had in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, 'cause you remember kind of what you were going for when you start watching it again. It all just kind of floods back to you a bit, and
Mm.
you remember roughly where things were that you wanted to take out. But
Yeah.
then it's almost that second look,
Yeah.
and that's the other thing. You'll watch your video 100 times, or maybe not, but like 10, 20 times as you're going through the editing process, and each time you'll cut something out because you'll just think that's not right, or you'll come across something where you go, this person's referring back to something else, but I've cut that bit out. So now do I need to go put that back in, or do I cut this bit out? But this bit's actually really relevant and really funny or really good. And you end up in this real quandary of what do you do? And it's
Mm.
like, just honestly, just go with your gut and think about how you would receive it. It's almost that take a step back,
Mm.
take yourself out of your shoes, out of that chair that you've been sat in for the last 10 hours editing. Um, and just watch it for what it is and go, actually, do I enjoy that? Does it make sense? Is it something that I would watch on YouTube? And would I be happy with it? Is if there's something missing, what is missing? But also at the same time, and it sounds counterintuitive, but it is another piece of advice that I've been told and I've seen is you will labor over your first project for days, weeks, and you'll never be happy with it. Never. Just put it out there.
Yeah.
Just find a cutoff where if you watch it and you think, for a first time creator, which people in the YouTube community understand, your first project is never good. Put yourself in their position. They know you're a first timer. It's your first video. You've maybe even called it my first video from Playmobil or whatever. Um, it's not going to be good.
Mm.
Just put it out there. And you'll feel so much relief just by putting it out there. For people to watch, and you will either get engagement or you won't. And then the key is to learn from anything you can from that video, and it's you use your analytics.
Yeah.
Your retention graph is so important in that one. Assuming you get enough views, which hopefully you will over time, you'll get enough views, you'll get a retention graph, and you'll see where people are dropping out, and you can see in that video what happened there, and you can go, okay, well, I won't do that anymore. Or indeed, if people have rewound to watch more, and you'll see a little spike in your graph, what happened there? Great, let's do more of that. Use the analytics to your advantage, and just don't be afraid to put stuff out. Yes, it's the internet. Yes, it's a savage place, and people can be horrible. But you'll find that anywhere you go. Have the resilience to just ignore those people and get on with project number two.
And that was Jerry's final thought.
It really was.
What?
J doesn't stand for Jerry, by the way. I just want to point that out.
Yeah. What is your what are your socials and what is your YouTube channel or channels?
Social wise, I'm not going to give you my social media because I don't use them. I've struggled over the years with social media, and I don't think I'm in any position to say I'm going to be using it, even though I say it every time I'm going to get back into it. I don't. So I won't give you that. I'll just give you the link to my YouTube channel, which is just go onto YouTube, type in at CJ Brookes, and you'll find my gaming channel, or at CJ Brookes POV, and you'll find my second channel, which is more of a vlog type channel. As of recording this, there is only one video there, and it's because, like I've just said to you, I've been fighting with this video for so long, thinking, do I even want to put it out? And I'm like, yes, no, yes, no. I've made it public. I've then taken it down again. I've then put it back up again and then taken it down again, because I'm just not happy with it. But it's live. Go and watch it, please.
Anyone that's got to the end of this particular podcast, if you've done that, then go one step further. Go to CJ Brookes POV, and watch that video and give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, Brookes with an E, by the way. It's
Brookes with an E.
K-E-S. Yeah. Everyone gets that wrong.
That would be Brooksy, wouldn't it?
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Brooksy.
Brooksy. CJ Brookes FM. Thank you so much for coming onto the show, and we will see you again. You'll come back. We'll have an update. We'll see where you're going with the POV. We'll see how many thumbs up you did get. And I'm going to go and give it a thumbs up.
Thanks, Ted.
In a moment or two.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. No, thanks for having me. Genuinely, Ted. It's been a real pleasure being here, and I'm so glad that we've both gone and found our creative outlets that we both craved so much. And as you say, hopefully, we may see the return of the infamous Tuesday show in season 5 in 2024.
Coming to
even though we should have
set of beers near you.
Yeah, we should have timed that a bit better though, and maybe called that one season 4. Just ignore the previous season 4 or whatever's coming in 2024 season 4, just so we can keep it in our head. What season we're on?
2024 season 4,
or we'll just call it financial year 25 in 2024. That was a callback to right at the start of the show.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks.
That was a conversation recorded on the 18th of December 2023, or 2023 you could say, with CJ Brookes. Thanks ever so much to CJ for coming on the show, and we'll look forward to hearing from him again. If you've got anything to say about this episode, please do get in the comments, and if you've got more to say and want to be on the show, please do get in touch. You can DM me at Ted James Media on all the socials, and please don't forget to click like and subscribe and the little bell as well, so that you're the first to know when a new video drops. And until the next podcast, goodbye.